Good. We're gonna. You want me to keep going, right? All right, I'm gonna keep going, even if we're not being heard by anybody except the audience at the Beer Temple here, which is awesome. And then I just want to thank all the show guests we've had over the years. Somehow, everybody says yes when I ask them. I have no idea why. I think they're all insane, but it's great to have them here. All right. That being said, you did hear another voice. I want to let you know who that is. That is the host of the Sons of CPA, rebranded as Accounting High podcast, Scott Scarano himself. Scott, thanks for being here today and being my co-host.
I've got an immense amount of gratitude for you, homie. Thank you.
All right. I can't hear you, man.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. I told him beforehand I couldn't hear him, but we're good to go. So besides the podcast, Scott does a bunch of stuff. He's out speaking. He's out at events. He's the owner of Paget Business Services in North Carolina that does accounting and tax and payroll and all kinds of good stuff. So Scott's here to make sure when I forget to ask a question, he keeps things moving, and I'm going to hand it over to him at plenty of times to ask the questions as well. And surprise guest, this was not on the docket. We did not tell people ahead of time. When this first started 3 years ago, my very first guest ever was Tim Jipping. And Tim is sitting in the chair right here. Tim,
TJ.
Welcome to the second version of the Unique CPA with Tim Jipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy to be
back
here.
for a second helping.
Second helping.
Yeah.
So, see, this is when that's amazing. He came back again. He must have had fun the first time. So Tim,
Well, he heard there was going to be beer and pizza.
the first time we talked, so I met you probably a year plus before you were on the podcast, and I had heard that you were just listed under, was a CPA advisor tech?
Yeah,
CPA
40 under 40. Yeah.
40 under 40, and very impressive. And I reached out to you and said, hey, I'm starting a podcast. Would you want to be the first guest? And he said yes, which was awesome. I think I spent 8 hours prepping for that interview, which now I spend about 10 minutes. But I think I spent 8 hours prepping for that interview, and you were hosting a podcast at the time. Are you still hosting a podcast?
I'm not. No.
Right. No,
that was
no
a
more?
season. That was a season of life.
That season's
That's-
over. Well, you
that's
need to
over
go back
right
to
now.
it.
No.
No?
Maybe this
He
will
just needs
kickstart it.
encouragement.
Whatever makes you happy, Tim.
All
I
right.
want you to do what makes you happy.
All right.
All right. So when we talked that first time, you were just starting Journey Advisors and CPAs, I think is the name of your firm. You know, we're 3 years past that now.
Mm-hmm.
Give me an update. How has Journey been doing? How's the business going?
Oh, it's been doing fantastic. I mean, better than I could have hoped.
Yeah?
Yeah, the last really appreciated any guidance and advice you had. And so when you asked to join the podcast, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it. It's
I
fun.
had guidance for you? I didn't remember this part of it.
I can't remember it, but I'm sure it was there. Yeah,
right.
no.
We'll pretend. We'll pretend there was guidance.
But what you've done over the past 3 years is impressive. Not to say that I didn't expect it,
I didn't.
but podcasting is pretty big out there these days, and so everyone's trying. And what you've done, and the guests that you brought in, the people I've met here tonight, very impressive what you've done over the past 3 years.
Well, thank you for that. It's I don't know how it happened. I don't know what's happening. I just keep going with it.
Yeah.
I tell everybody my entire job is talking, so I guess podcasts make sense, even though when Dana first asked, I didn't see myself as a podcast host. But it's been great for the last 3 years. So I want to thank you for that. We just go ahead, Scott.
I got a question for you, Tim.
Yes.
How do you keep those Air Force Ones so clean?
You got to talk louder, man.
How do you keep those Air Force Ones so clean?
Oh, I don't. They are.
They are fresh.
They've got a little dirt on them. I think the Air Force Ones are best when you can tell that they've been worn. That's
With the creases.
With the creases.
Some worn creases in there?
Yep, I've been accused of having creases in by collectors, and anyways, I just go with it.
That was just a palate cleanser question. Yeah.
Well, what are your shoes? What are these you're wearing?
These are Jordan 3s.
Jordan 3s.
His are like iterations of the Jordan 1s.
Really?
That's why I think that's why they call them Air Force 1s.
All right, got it.
Yeah, mine are the 3s. These are all off-white 3s.
In case you want to know, I'm wearing Merrill shoes. So,
I didn't want to know.
Randy, I mean, since you asked, I mean, I think meeting with you a few years ago was really kind of a launching point for us. Not that,
Right.
all of a sudden we blew up, but I think it gave credibility to the types of things we were doing, and what you were highlighting with your guests really reinforced the direction we were heading and the path we were on. And we've learned a lot over the past few years. We continue to learn. I always describe that I think our firm is like a 9 or 10-year-old. We haven't quite hit puberty. We haven't hit the teen
You're
years.
past the toddler years, though.
We're past the toddler years. Yes.
Right.
You're in
we've
middle
learned
school.
to crawl. I think we're walking okay now. We can have a reasonable conversation with adults.
Nice.
But we're getting there, and I think that had a lot to do with what you've been doing, and just reinforcing the fact that you can take unique paths in this profession and do things a little bit differently, and they can be
You're like a
successful. And
father
frankly,
figure.
Yeah. Well, I remember talking to you, and that was your plan. You wanted to do things different. That was your whole plan, and so you've stuck to that over the last 3 years and continue, right?
we try to. I mean, we have certain boundaries that we must stay in,
Right.
but we try to do things differently. I think I don't recall if I told you this or not, but we wanted to bring some big firm service level value down to smaller business, and give them the same service level and competency and
I remember
technical
that.
knowledge, and so we've stuck to that.
That's awesome. Well, Tim, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else? Otherwise, we
So,
really
Tim-
appreciate you being here. Scott's got a question.
Well,
Hold on.
yeah, let
What's
me
one
take
big
another
change that you've had since the first episode of the Unique CPA? One big change, or one thing you would like to edit back from that episode?
Edit. I don't think I would edit anything.
So we relaunched it today and re-released it. Totally legit. Like,
That's the plan.
Yeah. So the episode that I was on, when you asked, hey, can you come by and maybe you want to do a couple minutes, I was like, you know what, I should probably listen to that thing again. And our whole firm listened to it, and they were like, wow. That you're on.
Right.
And fortunately, I think it was so deeply ingrained that we kind of stuck on that path. If we could do something differently, I mean, knowing what you know now, I mean, sure, there would be certain administrative items, maybe, we'd go a different route. We've hired a team overseas, and they've been phenomenal.
Awesome.
And we continue to grow there. And so, but no, I would say the vision of the guests that you have on the podcast, the vision that I had and still have, hasn't deviated.
Nice.
And I think if you stick to that,
yeah, it's pretty important.
you're going to be successful. If you,
Some little things here and there, but that main path that you started down, you're sticking to, consistency, that's great. And
You got it.
And obviously, you had this plan in your mind, and that plan's been working, so that's awesome.
Now it's all about the people. It's all about the people. It's always about the people. I know you're going to have
But if
Blake
you
on.
articulate your vision to those people, then they continue to perpetuate it even without you.
Exactly. So, we are. We're doing well. We appreciate you having us here, or me here. But and the rest of the guests that you have tonight.
And I have a group of guys here that I've done that with. They started a firm a few years ago, and we've been doing an annual update. You and I need to do that too, so I'll reach out to you and we'll do that. Thanks again,
Sounds great.
Tim, for being
Thanks
here.
for having me.
Thanks, Tim.
All right.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, with that being said, we are going to switch guests right now.
Quick commercial break.
We're not going to commercial break.
All right,
This
we're not
is
going
our
to commercial.
only transition where we're not going to go to a commercial break. So this transition, we are going to bring in Allan Koltin, come on in, and Kenji Kuramoto, come on in. So this is our next set of two. We're going to be rotating two guests in at a time, and I will do, you know what, I'll introduce one. I'll introduce Allan. You can introduce Kenji. How's that sound?
Happy to do it.
All right, and make sure you speak loud enough. Because I'm old, Scott. I can't hear things that well anymore, so...
I thought the mic enunciates that a little bit.
All right. All right, so now our next two guests just came in. You saw them. I'm assuming they're live on camera. I don't even have to introduce Allan Koltin because everybody knows Allan Koltin, but I'll do a quick introduction to Allan Koltin. He is, well, he's the most recognized. I was going to say something. I won't say that. He's the most recognized person in tax and accounting and CPA for sure. He runs Koltin Consulting Group. That's what your firm's officially called. Out talking to CPA firms, very active in just practice management topics with them, but M&A stuff as well, and that's probably a topic we're going to touch on today. This is Allan. I could say this for everybody that's on the podcast today, but it's the repeat visit. And so I won't say it every time, but I will say it. This is Allan's repeat visit on the Unique CPA. Allan, thanks for being here.
Oh, I'm just thrilled to be here. Can I take 10 seconds?
Yeah.
You ever see the movie Rudy?
Yeah.
And when the dad comes in the football stadium, and he says, "This is the most beautiful thing these eyes have ever seen." That's the experience for me tonight.
Uh-huh.
This is incredible.
So-
I mean, accountants and beer, like, isn't there like a generally accepted accounting principle? You can't do this?
We're breaking all the rules today. We're breaking
Alan,
all the
you
rules.
remind me of Dick Vitale. Like right now, it's
Dick
just
TV over here.
Yeah,
I
this
love
is
it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Bring in the energy.
You might need you to take my place. Yeah.
Well, we can consider that. So
Color
I can
commentary
hear Allan.
101, yeah.
All right, you want to introduce Kenji?
All right, Kenji's probably one of the most boring people I know. He's an asshole. Like, he's not very
Fair.
cool to be
Fair.
around.
Is this a G-rated
Kenji
show? I guess
is one of
not.
my favorite people. That was all a joke. Yeah, sorry. I shouldn't be cursing. So Kenji is probably one of my favorite people of all time. One of my best pals. The founder of Acuity. He provides accounting, finance. I'm going
You're gonna
on
have to
script now.
read
I'm going
those
on
notes.
script
Those
now.
notes are for
I got my
ad-libbing
script.
only.
Kenji hosts the Drink While You Think podcast, and I feel like this is a live version of that or tribute to that, right? We're at the beer
True.
temple. We're worshiping beer right now. Like Kenji,
Well, we're enjoying beer. I don't know if we're quite worshiping. Hopefully, we're not.
Give us
thirsty.
more time.
Kenji's a creator though too. He creates beer in his basement.
Oh, I know that. I offered to bring him some hops this fall, so we'll see.
I don't know if he has hops though. I don't know. I've never seen him play basketball.
You're going with the dad jokes now, huh? All right,
I
nice.
got to. You've been coaching me on those.
I'm very good at that. All right. That's great. This next segment, I'm really looking forward to. 2 nights ago, Kenji sent out an email say, "Can I nominate Allan to talk about private equity and public accounting?" And that's why they're two teamed up here today. But Allan, you and I talked about this on the podcast. I think it was October and November. PE was just coming in with Eisner Amper at that time. I think Citron Cooperman and those two specific, and you could talk, well, obviously Cherry Beckert and other firms as well. Those two specifically seem very active still. I think it was just announced today. I saw you announce it that Eisner Amper just merging in Lori, which is a big firm out of Minneapolis. Citron Cooperman had an announcement last week of another firm. I think they're merging in.
Schwartz, yep.
Why don't you give us? Can you give us an update of what's going on? Is this going to continue? What's the game? What's the word? You just tell us an update on what's going on in private equity.
So Randy, it's insane.
Yeah.
You know, when I was on your podcast, and thank you for having me, people stop me on the street and say, "Hey, weren't you the guy on Randy's podcast?" I mean, you have taken my brand like up like this.
I doubt that.
And my comment to you was, there's a storm coming, and it's going to be
didn't.
a good one.
Yeah.
And what I thought was maybe like a one-off, you know, where maybe, okay, Eisner Amper does this, Citron Cooperman does this, now Cherry Beckert does this, Shellman had done it before.
Right.
I would tell you that if I just look at the top 25, more than half of them are in an active PE discussion. I
Really?
would think you'll have 3
Crazy.
or 4 more top 20. But by the end of next year, this profession will not resemble itself. You know the big 4, right? They're breaking up. They're having this conscious uncoupling. Audit will keep the brand, tax and consulting together. They'll go the route of private equity or an IPO, and they'll truly become global firms. But when you get into firms 5 to 25, just assume half of them will be PE owned, and PE won't stop there. These were the heavyweights. Now you got the middleweights coming in and
Really?
saying, I want to talk to firms 30 to 100 million. And now you even have the lightweights, where they're saying, like family office, hey, if you got $2-3 million of EBITDA, we want in.
Really?
And I
So this
was
is
warned
not
about this.
stopping.
They said as soon as someone cracks the code, they'll all be in.
Really? So this
Yeah.
is not stopping. This is not going away. There's going to be,
Yeah.
and I think we're going to talk about this later. There's going to just be a completely new structure of firms and how they're set up. That. All right. So that being said, Kenji, did you? I know you wanted Allan to talk about this. Did you have anything specific, or you just want to hear the stories?
I just think the stories are incredible. I think that, to me, with private equity, there's a lot of folks out there who are maybe against this, saying, wait a minute, this is not what our profession is about. Non-practitioners being owners. But I think it's exciting. I think it's actually very exciting in bringing something new to our profession. And I'm just curious from Allan's perspective, there's probably a few things I would guess that private equity is doing. There's probably some cleaning up of pensions, deferred comp, and things like that some of these firms may need to kind of get off the balance sheet and figured out. But I think, Allan, you've talked about using private equity in these big firms to attract newer talent and give some monetization opportunities where historically in our profession, you got to wait all the way to the very end until you're kind of really getting a bite of that apple. And now there's an opportunity to kind of get a few more bites earlier on. And I think that's really intriguing because we are all having an issue, whether you're a top 25, whether you're mid, you're small, like how do you retain and attract young people? And so I'm just very curious about this new structure around how do you get the younger generation to where like, hey, we're not going to hold that carrot out till you're literally at the time 30 years in, but now you're getting some opportunities to actually monetize your value in your firm earlier. Are you seeing that that's a prominent part of why these firms are going the route of private equities to kind of engage the younger generation within the accounting?
You nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. So the three T's we got to be thinking
Okay.
about: talent, technology, transformation. This business, this industry called accounting, has been around for 140 years. And for 138 of them, it was pretty steady Eddie, if you know what I mean. We offer two things that clients don't want, but they need: financial statements and tax returns. And the disruption is on. Firms are seeing declining margins. They have to build out consulting, advisory, or partner with someone who can deliver those things. They don't have the bankroll, the capital to go acquire those companies because private equity is sitting across the table
already doing it.
competing. And the kids today, it's all about the kids. Late 90s, public company consolidators came in, with the exception of CBIZ, who was the lone survivor, American Express, H&R Block, everything failed. Why? Because it was a get-rich-quick scheme for the older group, and there was nothing for the kids. So what did these private equity groups do? They started by saying, we're going to create a model that has stickiness for the young generation. What they didn't realize is those people today, they're fine to get a check and be part of NewCo and get shares and options and stock in building something out. So it's funny, it starts out with the older group because they're close to the finish line. Instead of getting 2 times compensation as
The old
ordinary
typical
income over
model,
10
10
years when you
years,
retire,
right, the whole thing, yeah.
you can get 7, 8, 10, 12 times comp, right? Capital gain today. So the old ones are always in, but the young ones are driving this train. And what they see is the transformation of an industry that was a steady Eddie for a long time, and they're going to need the capital to do it.
Yeah.
Private equity's timing is perfect.
That's exciting.
What's in it for the young generation then?
So a couple of things. Number one, you eliminate the unfunded chain letter, the retirement obligation for the older
That's a great
group.
analogy.
Number two, they're going to need a ton of capital to build the technology, the AI, the bots, the consulting, the advisory, the outsource. Where does that money come from in an accounting firm? It comes from partner comp. So do you want to take all your earnings and put it back in while you're funding out the baby boomers? What do you got left to make? And what if you guess wrong? What if you go for 5, 6, 7 years, spend all this money, and you come up empty? You're seeing deals. There was one announced today. You're going to see them about one a week now till the end of the year. Fiercely independent firms that never would have done anything are saying, you know what? If you can give me 7, 8 times the EBITDA of our business, where do I sign?
Yeah. Sign me up.
It's hard to turn
changing.
down.
Absolutely.
So what's the? And I think I asked you this before, but I mean, you had mentioned I mean, this is going to be multiple iterations of this. It's not one private equity comes in and they're done and they're there for the next 100 years, right? I mean, they're going to, maybe not like they did in the 90s, but they want to get out at some point. Is this going to just keep happening every 5 years, or what's the outcome?
So think 3 bites of an apple. On day one, monetization, there's an enterprise value. You know how this works. It's EBITDA times multiple. Enterprise value, 60% of that. Cash, capital gain on day one. You clear out the deferred comp, you pay off the debt, you pay off the old partners, you get your capital back. But it's the second and third bite that have the kids excited. The second bite is 3-4 years later, hit some EBITDA milestones, and you get another bite of the apple.
Yeah.
And then in 4 to 7 years, when they flip their investment, we are pari passu. We have the same ownership, if you will, in Nuco, and we get to have another bite of the apple. Some of these professional service firms in consulting, advisory, recruiting, wealth management, insurance brokerage, they've gotten 2, 3, 4 bites of the apple.
All right.
I know when it sounds too good to be true, it
Yes, it
probably
does.
is. Yeah,
Well,
but it's
I guess in that regard, Allan, is there have you seen firms have that concern of where call it that third bite of the apple, to where the PE firm has got to get that 5 to 7 year flip to get the return, but they're looking out going, hey, well, what happens if we happen to be in a down market, or we're in a bad cycle, and we've got to return capital back to limited partners and the private equity firms, and now we're a little bit on a treadmill to where it's, every 5 and 7 years now we have to kind of go back out to market, if you will, to sell. Are firms concerned about that, or are they actually excited about the fact that, like, actually we do have to go to market? We have to kind of almost look like we're doing almost an exit every 5 to 7 years. How are they thinking about that?
so at the end of the day, it's still the accounting firm driving the ship.
Okay.
You know, they're going to partner with a private equity group that doesn't get in their hair. That's not micromanaging it. But you know what's getting exposed here is the flaws of a partnership. 30 partners, you sit around a table, everybody has a say. So what do? If somebody objects, you don't make the decision. You water it down. You kick the can down the road. So they're going to make better, tougher, faster decisions, produce more profit, which is going to cause more EBITDA to happen.
Right.
We all knew it innately. We just never had another mechanism to try to run the business like a business.
All right. Well, that's
So that's a great segue into how Kenji is
Go.
running his firm.
Let's do
You
it.
asked me on our episode, what's going to happen to the partner model? Is there alternatives? Well, Kenji's firm, Acuity, is the alternative. They're running it like a business. I don't know if I have a question there, but I think that, can you speak on that and how this impacts the way you're running your firm?
I don't know if this impacts the way we're running our firm. In some ways, it maybe validates. It is
Validates.
I think what Allan's seeing and has been involved with is a new, fresh take on the ownership model around accounting firms. And again, I grew up wasn't Big Four, it was Big Six back then, so that gives you an idea of my age.
Yeah, well, I'm Big 8.
Big
so.
8, thank you for that, Randy. You're making me feel better.
All right.
But I think thinking about that model where that was the structure of how firm ownership worked. And so coming out of that model and stepping outside for a few years into private, myself, my business partner Matthews here, be on here later, we had a pretty clear picture to where we'd been inside those organizations. He as an actual shareholder, me as just a staff member, senior, of how to maybe change it up a little bit. And so we kind of always felt that way about our firm, of like, hey, let's run it a little bit more, I would say, not like a non-accounting firm, but maybe in some sense.
Well,
What
I
we
think
did
that's
was we
important.
took a lot of cues. Now, our predominant vertical that we sell into is SaaS-based technology companies. So we see lots of venture capital, lots of private equity. So we were used to them as a client base and raising capital. So that actual business model we were very familiar with. And so we've taken a lot of things throughout the years to kind of impact the way that we run our firm, probably more so from the accounting community. Not to say that we don't respect and love our accounting family and friends, but we felt like there was a way, and I think Allan's pointing out this, it needed to change in the way that a lot of these firms worked. So I think that we probably saw that, we emulated what our clients were doing, And I think now we're seeing an intersection point to where private equity has kind of realized, wait a minute, these are some great businesses. These accounting firms are excellent businesses. Top 25 is interesting, makes perfect sense, but to hear them coming down to the mid-tier, even down to lower, smaller accounting firms is really interesting. Family offices looking at them. I'm excited about it because I think it validates the model that we are all part of, we've lived in for years, that maybe we haven't given full credence to the value really inherent in our firms. I mean, it's typically been this, it's a 1 times revenue multiple or maybe some, and I think we're seeing there's actually more value inside of accounting firms than maybe we thought about historically.
It's interesting, man, just for a minute. Private equity tried to enter our profession 15 years ago. I was part of it. And the problem in those days was we didn't need capital. It was the steady Eddie. We do compliance for a living. They tried again in 2012. The problem was we still didn't need capital, but we didn't make enough profit because the partners ran the firm didn't run the partners. And it's the perfect storm today. Technology, talent, transformation, the need for capital.
3 T's. I love
the 3 T's. I'm going to remember that for sure.
Yeah,
I'm going to use that.
Well, I'm going to give you a 4th T. And you know what the 4th T is? And this is a bonus. It's trouble. Because if you got your head in the sand and you're coming off your best year or two because the feeding at the trough right now is so good, you can't see it happening. It's like that elderly couple in the movie The Titanic. They're sitting in the hotel room grinding away.
Titanic. Today's 5 T's.
Yeah. Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
He's
get
Scott's
Scott
all about
started.
initials.
Token
go.
tax.
token
Another
tax.
2
There you go.
T's.
He's on a roll.
At the beer temple.
The
60.
temple.
Temple.
The 60. We're just going to go. This is the T show.
Easy,
I will
Scotty.
highlight the T's as we
Easy,
go along
Scotty.
tonight.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap up this session. This was great. Did you were about to ask a question?
So I just basically, for me, I'm a, I was around with the final four, like you're Dick Vitale, right? So the final 4. I wasn't around for the Elite 8 or the 6, final 4. So for me, I still don't really know the difference between VC and PE. What's the difference? Like, why wouldn't VC come in? That's all we've been hearing for the past few years. Like, all this VC money in tech. Like,
Is it the same?
is it the same?
All right. That's the
I
question.
don't think it is, and Allan probably is more to say on this to me too, but we've seen from our client experiences of those who raise VC and private equity, there are different models. They're different. When you go out to a limited partner to put into your venture capital fund or your private equity fund, you're essentially hoping to give them different types of returns and different risk profiles. And so it makes sense for, we saw Ryan Embry here, Ignition or some other software companies. Venture capital can be a very good mechanism to put capital in the business. But the returns and the timelines are different. The growth needed, the scale needed is different because there's not as much reliance on human capital. Private equity has some different returns needed, I guess I would say, where the hurdles to cross for a positive, successful outcome to your limited partners is not quite what you're looking for in the venture capital world. And I think it's interesting to where PE is seeing that, okay, actually, there's some opportunities here in accounting firms, but venture makes good sense for a lot of our partners who are here today, who are building great software that all of us use as firm owners. I'm very suspect about whether it's a good model for accounting firms. Now, I know a few accounting firms, think about a Pilot, a Bench, accounting-ish firms, more maybe software-enabled, have raised venture capital. I'm still skeptical whether that's a feasible model. I'm curious to Allan's take. I think private equity is actually a better capital mechanism for accounting firms, unless you've truly got a technology component to the business. But I'm curious of your take, Allan.
You nailed it in terms of the differences. The question nobody's asking is, what happens in 4 to 7 years? Who do you sell it to? Because you've got some pretty big PE firms in already.
That's my question.
There is another level. There's the KKRs and the Blackstones and some of the big bigs, Carlyle. But there's also a second group that would say IPO. Look for more public company offerings.
Yep.
And then there's a third one that's so far out there that as audit separates from tax and consulting, what's to say the owner of Tesla or Amazon doesn't come in and buy it? especially as you have this alternative practice structure.
Yep.
So I don't even know that the ultimate buyer in 5 to 8 years, just like 3 years ago, we couldn't have sat here and said, this is what's going on in the industry. In 4 or 5 years, I think it's game on.
3 years
We
ago, there
can't
wasn't
even
a unique
visualize the
CPA.
buyer.
That's right. We couldn't have talked about it 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, because we did not exist as a podcast. So you got that right, too. All right. With that being said, yeah, we need to get to our next guest.
Next guest.
This
Thank
was
you.
awesome. I could talk about this all night long, and we probably will once we finish up the rest of the next 2 sessions. But we are going to take a 5-minute break. We're going to go quiet on YouTube here for a minute. We're going to rotate in our next set of guests, but I want to do a great shout out and thank you to Allan and Kenji for being on this
Thank
segment.
you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Do a
Enjoyed it,
T
man.
word here to close us off. Yeah.
And you come up with you're the words. Do the T word
All I
to
could
close
think
us.
it was Toodaloo. That was
Toodaloo.
it.
We're all right.
Four,
Hello.
five.
9,
I'm
10,
here.
11.
Yeah, they moved us.
All right.
All right. All right. Well, welcome back. We're in the second segment of the live version of the Unique CPA podcast. I can't believe we're through one segment already. I'm having too much fun for this to end. It feels like I'm getting too close to the end already. But we now are joined by two new guests, Don Brolin and Josh Lance. I'll introduce one. You can introduce the other. You want Josh?
Either one.
All right. Make sure you talk loud.
Who am I introducing?
You're going to go Josh, but I'm going to go Don first.
All right, go for it.
All right. So Don Brolin, I met Don for the first time in June, Don?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, in June. And just hit it off immediately. Dawn is one of the most fun people and most energetic people and interesting people you're ever going to meet. You're going to hear this in a minute. And her title is The Designated Motivator. She has two books under that title, the Designated Motivator and the Designated Motivator for Accounting Professionals.
That is correct.
All right, and that's what she does, and she is so much fun. But in addition to that, she does have her own firm called Powerful Accounting.
Powerful, not powerful. It's powerful.
Did I say that word
You
wrong?
said powerful.
Powerful
I
Accounting.
forgive you.
I feel like
from now
that's
on,
a-
it's Powerful Accounting with the what is
Edgar
it? What's
Allan
your tagline?
Powerful Accounting, yeah.
Team Brolin,
That's right.
but it's powered by Team Brolin,
That's
right?
right.
All
Do
right.
you want me to do my own, or I mean, I can help
No,
you if you
I
need
just-
it.
Dawn
Sounds like-
brings a lot of flavor to a conversation and sizzle.
A lot of flavor and
Right.
sizzle. So she's not the vapors. She is the steak. Is that what
No,
we're
no,
saying?
no. She's not the steak. You know Josh is the steak. You know
Oh,
this. And
boy.
I'm supposed to be introducing Josh, right? This was the lead-in. This was the
Yeah.
transition.
So that being said, I'm going to kick it over to you. But believe me, this is going to be with these two out there. It's going to be a great session.
Dawn of Powerful Accounting.
Powerful Accounting.
So Dawn, I would linken her to the sizzle in this situation of the sizzle and steak that we have. This guest duo is the sizzle,
Sizzle
and steak.
and
yeah?
steak, all
So
right.
Josh brings the meat, right? Josh isn't as enigmatic and he doesn't have that power that Dawn Dawn brings to it.
He has a lot of power.
Josh is contemplative, but Josh has also won. Dawn won 40 under 40 as well on her 39th
And
year.
top 100 most influential
Top
accounting.
100 most influential. Josh has won 40 under 40 5 years and counting. He's still
Is it
got
5
another
or
year
6,
he can win
Josh?
it.
5 years and counting. Yeah,
5
that's
years
right.
and counting.
5 years and counting.
It's your
Josh
last
is
year of
the-
eligibility, right?
That's right, yeah.
All right.
Josh is the spry young founder of Lance CPA Group Practice. What is Lance
group,
CPA?
Lance
It's
CPA
a
Group, that's right.
All right.
That's right, yeah.
All right, but you're at formerly Practice Ignition, which is now Ignition. So
Ignition.
we're going to get rid of the group. We're going to get rid of
Get rid of all that stuff. Yeah.
So Josh also is an influential person at Ignition.
Ignition.
He speaks to other accountants, so that's part of his industry. And
So is
Josh
I
works
going to
with-
be your initial? You did Ignition, you did Industry. Is I your initial for this
That's
segment?
this one. So it's TI. I wonder what the next one's going to be. Like if we're going to spell out a word, an acronym, we'll get there.
We'll figure it out.
So we're in the I's now. So Josh is Josh is an elite in
That's
this
an E.
industry.
That's an E.
Yeah, elite. I'm
Elite.
pronunciating it like an I, right?
All right.
I don't know how to spell, or I don't even know my words and letters. This
All right,
is
so-
great. I'm so glad to have both of y'all here.
So can I give one more introduction to Josh? Josh was just named by Accounting Today as Managing Partner Elite, and there's what, about 10 people they
Only
pick every
10.
year?
Yeah. Only
That
10.
is, you didn't say Managing Partner Elite. You didn't say Accounting Today.
thought I was supposed to say
That is, I was reading that and I go, holy cow, our podcast just went through the roof because now we got Josh Lance and he committed before he got this gigantic award. I'm surprised you didn't turn us away and say, no,
Right, yeah.
I can no longer do this. I need like a $1 million appearance
right,
fee
that's
for
right,
anything
yeah.
I'm at right now.
I'll bill you for it. It's fine.
through the rough.
All right. Well, I appreciate you both being here. So there are so many topics the two of you can talk about because you are so influential. You are so, everything you do motivates people on both ends.
Influential.
Yeah, and so one thing I do want to talk about, and Dawn, let's start with you. is this whole motivation, this designated motivator concept. Give us a little, what is this? Where does it come from? And what do you do with it?
It's just insane. To be totally honest with you,
Yeah.
I have no idea. I had a great experience with a softball team, and if you've ever seen any of my material, it's softball is where it's at, you
Yeah.
know. But I realized over this experience of coaching with college athletes that it's really about how you can motivate them and get within their soul and dig deep and relate with them and be genuine about it. That you can pull things out of people that they never knew they could accomplish. And I think the reason why I wrote the book, The Designated Motivator for Accounting Professionals, was because I'm like, you know what? I want to inspire and motivate other practitioners, and I'm just going to say this, sorry, to get their shit together, right? So I want I want them to figure out, like, what are they passionate about?
Yeah.
What do they love so much within their profession? And it's okay to pick tax. It's okay to pick advisory. It's okay to pick an industry like Josh has. Like, it's okay to have a niche practice. I'm saying niche because
Niche.
I feel French.
All right.
Niche.
I'm
I don't
niche,
know.
but everybody else is niche, I think.
Niche,
So.
niche, nash,
Right.
whatever. But I feel like at the end of the day, we as accounting professionals have had this kind of like standard of, you guys are all smart, this ERC and R&D and, XYZ and whatever. But really at the end of the day, whatever it is you're passionate about, I want to help people get there. And it's okay whatever that path is.
That's awesome. That is a topic that I talk about all the time, passion. Because if you're not doing something you're passionate about, I mean, if you have the ability to figure that out and go down that path, and even if it's less money, whatever it is, but you're just going to have so much more fun if you're doing something you enjoy. And I'm going to segue from that, and I'm going to talk to Josh for a second.
Only a second.
Only
Just
a second.
second.
No, Josh, you get
We've
one?
talked. I
Okay.
paid him.
Minuscule time.
I paid him to
All
be
right.
quiet.
And so, speaking of passion, or at least niche, or niche, you're going to have to teach me how to speak French. Is
I
that
know.
right?
That's the only word I know.
They say vertical.
Vertical?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, industry verticals.
Yeah, I guess that's niche. I can't even say it now. You got
Now
me all
I
messed up,
jacked
Don.
you up, sorry.
You got me all messed up. All right, so Josh and I met for the first. Well, we met in person for the first time yesterday, and I've
right.
known Josh as feels like forever.
Yeah.
But that first time we met, Josh was about the third or fourth guest on the show, and I actually think. Did Tim Jipping introduce us?
did, yeah,
Yeah,
he
so
did.
Tim got you on the show.
Shout out to
Tim,
Tim.
you should yell at him that Tim got you involved in all this stuff. But
Air Force Tim.
Air Force Tim.
Yeah.
But what I found so interesting, and we're at the Beer Temple today, is that your, say the word for me, niche?
Niche.
Your niche is one of them, you probably have two, is craft breweries. And just that whole, Don, you have messed me up. I can't even say niche or niche anymore.
It
I don't
was
even,
so
it's like
easy.
I'm so, you played with my head, didn't you? Did you hypnotize me or something? Hypnotize me.
I hypnotizes you.
This is Dawn of the Dead today, right? From dusk till dawn.
So Josh, let's talk about niche and why you did that, why it's passion, and what you get from just not being a generalist but being the specialist in one industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, when I started my practice, I knew I wanted to focus on industry. I was a home brewer, home winemaker, and when I started my practice, craft beer was becoming a thing here in Chicago, and I was like, hey, this is a good match here, right?
Yep.
But I also knew that when you are, deep in an industry, deep in a vertical, right? You gain so much more and you can do so much more for your clients. And so I started a practice, focusing on craft breweries and all these craft breweries that were starting up saying, hey, I can help you out and take care of you guys. But I just got real deep in that industry. And I think that's been really important for our success in our firm because we've established ourselves as a leader in the industry and we've gained all this knowledge through going to industry conferences and learning everything we can about craft brewing, from the type of equipment you're using and styles and how you brew, and that gives us that knowledge to really connect with our clients and build a practice that breweries want to come to us and say, yeah, I want to work with you because you know what you're talking about and you understand us better than anyone else.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that knowledge is huge because, like you said, they know their industry.
Yeah.
It's not. When I was in practice, I was a generalist, and I dealt with all different kinds of businesses. Man, I look back now, I'm like, why didn't I know Josh 20 years? Well, I'm glad I didn't, because I would have stayed in public, and being a specialist now, I love so much more. But you could have taught me a lot 20 years ago. All right, so part of what you do, that niche, being that expert, I said it. I didn't even hesitate on
Don't
niche
look
that
at.
time.
Stop looking at me.
No, you're in my head, Don. You are in my head. This is never going away at this point. But so that niche, yes, I'm on a roll now.
I'm proud of
was
you.
amazing. But both of you, sorry, Scott, I'm not letting you jump in anywhere.
I'm good.
All right, but both of you have a really strong use of technology in your firms, and I know that's a big thing. And Dawn, you and I were talking about it, and you love the way you've got things set up and the automation. You want to give us a little idea of how you're doing it, what it is, and how beneficial it is?
Yeah, I think really at the end of the day, as a firm, and I'm a small firm, like, so we, there's 3 of us, like, that's small. It's even kind of teeny, right? And so, we made the decision. A nano firm.
And there's nano breweries, so you're perfect.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I just looked at it like, listen, I had 10 employees at one point, and it was human torture. I felt like it was torture.
Yep.
For me, I feel like I'm a leader, but I'm not really patient. So that's not a great combination. So I've decided to take the technology and implement the technology, not to replace people, like we're all going to become robots. Like, that's not a thing. But just that there's tasks and there's processes that you can implement and put in place, and then by doing that, it allows you to have a life outside of the office, which, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've had the badge of 80 hours, and I thought I was cool kid. I was an idiot.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, it's like, who can't sit in your office and sit there for 80? I mean, anyone can sit somewhere for 80 hours. I mean, it's better than jail time. So, I just looked at it that I want to implement the technology, and every firm needs the same technology to run a practice. And so I figured it out 3 years ago, and it allows me to volunteer coach. Like, I'm passionate. It allows me to go visit my daughter for 5 days, which I'm doing, because I want to be able to do that stuff. I can't do that if I'm always having to be on point. I've always got to be in the office to manage things, because the desktop, by the way, is the new ball and chain. Used to be a husband or wife. By the way, it wasn't always the wife. It was the husband typically. But
So you go from prison to then ball and chain to the domestic house, and now
This
now
isn't
we're
the
going
initial
ball
theme.
and chain at the office. All right.
it's a summary. This is a summary. We can get into more detail maybe at another time.
We
But
go deeper in the niche.
We got plenty of time still.
In the niche.
Niche.
You're not going to miss
Thank
Prisons
you.
are a niche too.
Anyway,
there are firms that focus on prisons.
Right? So you focus on breweries, some focus on prisons. And I mean, I know if I go to jail ever, I will run that place. I will 100% run that place.
Dawn will own the courtyard. Sleeves rolled up.
I'm
She
just
will
gonna-
motivate them, though. I don't know. You're going to motivate them to escape, or what are you going to motivate?
We will
So-
have a plan.
So part of that, though, you wrote the designated motivator and then the designated motivator for accounting professionals, right?
Correct.
So that's part of your niche. Like, if we're going to go back and pivot back to the niches, like your niche, and you have another target market of audience and people that you can help, because they're people that are like you, right? Like, Josh, you like craft brewery, you like
Right.
beers,
Yeah.
so it's your interest. So finding a niche and finding something that you can relate to
Right.
means you're speaking, your audience is you in a way. Is that, would you?
Oh, 100%. It's like my life has changed, right? I was a, can I say another bad word?
You can. Mark will beep it later, I
Okay, so
think.
we'll talk about that later.
Mark,
anyway,
are we good?
let's just say I did everything for money. Then you can decipher that however you like. When I first started my bookkeeping business, I kind of did whatever service was needed to make money, right? So
Prostitution? Is that what you're?
I was going to use a different word, but that's a
not
nicer one.
That's a nice
That's
version,
a nicer
right?
one. But I think, finding a niche where you're like, I'm really good at this. I'm passionate about this. I love it. The money's going to follow that passion.
Yeah,
That's the
I
thing.
agree.
It'll always follow it. Right, Josh?
That's right. That's exactly right. Like, you have that passion that flows through you. Like, your clients see it, your prospective clients see it. Like, it's not hard to get clients in the door at that point, right?
Right.
Because you have just that passion
Yep.
that you deliver throughout everything that you do, and people talk about you. They talk to their brewer friends or what industry they're in, right? And like, you become known in that, right? And I think it's important to have that passion in what you're doing. Otherwise, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be worthwhile to your success in building whatever you want to build.
Well, I think that's important too, because like you said, like being the best in an area, like you're the best at brewery, people recognize that. When you become that thought leader, you become that leader in that industry or that like I love iris representation, whatever it may be, and you're
Wait,
like,
you love iris
and
representation?
I love it.
Really?
Another I.
too.
Right, aye, that's an I word. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, no, I'm just so like finding a niche like that. People will talk about you because you're the guy.
Right.
Oh, a brewery, Josh. Oh, that's
Right.
done. Josh Lance, he's the guy. And so your colleagues will start referring you to people, and that's part of probably how you get work,
right. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I just referred somebody to Josh because I knew he was the brewery guy, and I had a brewery that I know needed help, and hopefully they're not too messed up that you can help them.
And hopefully for your listeners, if you have any ERC or specialty tax, find Tri-Merit. I'm inserting the ad right
We
there.
got an advertise. We are sponsored by Tri-Merit, the specialty tax professionals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so Josh, tell me a little more about tech then with you, because tech makes, like Dawn said, it allows her to go coach softball, which is her passion, and motivate his players, which I'd love to even go more deep in that story because it's unbelievable.
We'll do that another
All
day.
right, and we'll do that another day. But tech for you, how do you do it? Is there a certain tech you use more than another? How's it makes you more efficient?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like when you're niche in the industry and you like get real deep in it, right? You know the tools that people in your industry are using, right? And whether it's the tools they use to manage their brewery production or the things they use to sell through wholesale or anything like that, right? Like you get to know that stuff and kind of incorporate that into your own tech stack. So, as we built our firm over the last 7 years, we've incorporated a bunch of different tech stack elements that we kind of bring together. So when we do work with a new brewery or a brewery that's struggling, trying to get their stuff together because they're a mess, right? It's like we know exactly what you need to do in order to get this right, get the right information, run a better business, be more knowledgeable as an owner, and have the information you need to succeed, right? So, having that tech stack set up and the tech stack we have set up for our brewery clients, right? We've kind of vetted and worked through over time and made sure it worked and made sense for their type of business. And that's helpful too, because a lot of times, brewery owners, they love to brew beer, but they don't know the first thing when it comes to tech, and they need help, right? And so to have us be like, not only can help you with accounting or tax, we can help with your tech stack and figure out here's the systems you need to implement, here's what needs to do, how you connect things together, right, becomes even more critical, and it's a great way to just advise your clients too, and they gain so much from that as well, and they see that, oh yeah, you know what you're talking about when you're talking about these random apps that we use for brewing beer or recipe formulation. You know that stuff, and that connects to the accountant. That's huge, and that's a really
niche.
way to
That's the niche. You
niche
become
in
that
there,
expert.
right?
That expert. I love that. That's passion we talked about. Huge for me. Niche. Huge for me. Yes, Scott.
I got another P. So
Right.
passion.
I didn't know we were on the P word.
Well, no. You guys
Not
did
yet.
speak on passion, but I want to hear. What about your purpose, Dawn?
Okay. In which area of my professional, personal life? Because it's different.
Professional and personal.
Actually, it's the same.
It
You're
is
right.
the same. And that's
I
my
wanna
point.
check.
That's
That's
trick
my
question.
point. I'm pivoting from T. We're tip now, so we're going from T to I to P.
That's right. Well, I
I could
think
go on with P's all day.
I think that you have to have passion in what you do. Like, you have to have this purpose of fulfilling something. And what is that? My purpose has never been money. My purpose has always been, and not that I'm awesome at anything, right? I don't even know. But I've always wanted to leave people better than I found them. I don't always do that, but that's what I strive for. My purpose is can I improve one client's life? Can I improve one player's life? Can I improve my family's life? I don't know. Ask
Impact.
Emily, she's watching.
Another
So, like.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily. What's your, in Camden.
Emily.
Hi, Emily in Camden. So what's your purpose and what's your passion? I think for me, I'm the same person whether I'm sitting here with you, whether I'm at home, I'm talking to a client, I'm talking to an IRS rep. Those guys, I don't even care. I'll take them. I will kill them. I won't take that out.
Appreciate that.
I don't think you should kill 'em.
Authenticity. Like, so that's another word that comes up when I speak to Dawn is she's very authentic in all aspects of her life.
She
right?
doesn't change.
I don't.
So, but when you find that, you're awesome in all aspects. I know you say you're not awesome at anything, but you can be awesome at you.
Right.
Like you can be your awesome you.
Yeah, and I think really at the end of the day, it's true. Like my whole thing is you never know when you encounter another person, whether it's on the phone, in person, even just going to the gas station, you're grabbing a Gatorade, whatever. You don't know what has happened to them the moment before you got there.
Right.
And it could have been a moment. Could have been that person's day was awesome, and then all of a sudden in that moment, something in their life changed, and now you come along. Are you going to help that person have a better experience, Or are you going to just be like everybody else and be like, just here's my $2, take your Gatorade and go to your car? Look at them, smile at them, say, hey, I hope you have a great day. Like, and I'm not saying I always do that, but I try to.
You do.
I try
I've
to
seen it
consciously.
in the month I've known you. I see it all the time. It's
And
unbelievable.
and you know what? That's
That's
For 2
gratitude,
months.
though.
Yeah.
You got gratitude for everybody's job and everything that they're doing. If you show appreciation in that, then all of a sudden it's contagious.
Yeah, and I think and clients appreciate that. Like they want to know, they want you to be genuine, right? They don't want you to be this fake person and I'm all professional here and there. Like, listen, I wear pants during the day sometimes even. Like that's how professional I become.
I hope
but usually
so.
in shorts.
You're gonna walk around with no pants.
Well, Zoom has encouraged
okay,
people
all
to
right,
not wear
that's
pants.
true.
Am I the
anymore,
only
but-
one in shorts right now?
Yeah,
You guys are all wearing
we're
pants.
professional.
All right.
All
I'm
I
not.
packed was
But you know what I mean,
pants.
Josh, about being genuine to your clients, and they know if you're not.
Right, exactly.
They know.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, having that kind of that purpose and passion of what you do and how you connect to your clients, right, becomes important because they, as much as we care about our clients, they care about us as well and the well-being of our firm, right. And when I started my practice, my purpose was really around being home for family and not working crazy hours and like getting out of the kind of rat race of public accounting that I was used to. And have a firm that I enjoy being a part of, right? I worked at a large firm for 7 years, 80-hour weeks, 7 days a week, all the time, right? And I was on the road 80% of the time. Like, I didn't want to do that anymore.
Well, Chuck, since I've known you too, like you've designed your firm, designed your life around your desired outcomes.
Yeah,
And it's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
you're living your best life
Right.
in that way.
and it's all, I mean,
Close
it's,
to the mic.
and it's like, you know, like I think for a lot of people who start their firms, right, or like you start a business, like you do it because there's some purpose behind it, like what you want to accomplish. For me, it was never about money, like Don said,
Yeah.
right? Like it was like I want to be at home with my family and see my kids grow up and not be in some hotel room in some town wherever and not get to see my family, right? And
So let's talk
Yeah,
about
you're
that a
making me
second.
feel bad. I'm in a hotel room tonight.
Yeah, well, you're with your family, I'm sure, plenty, and your family appreciates you,
I
Scott.
live with my family.
All right.
Yeah.
So, well, that's true. So let's talk about that for just a few minutes. We're going to have to wrap up. But part of you and I have talked about this before, and you kind of mentioned it here that the way you've built it, and you want to have the family life and all that. And you don't have a lot of trouble finding employees, do you? I mean, we talked about that before.
Right, and I think that same purpose I have is the purpose my employees have, right?
Right.
Like we have a lot of employees who they work public accounting, they worked in corporate settings, and they didn't want to do that anymore, right?
Right.
They wanted to be home with their families, or they wanted to have a more flexible schedule. And so when you're able to offer that and offer that kind of alternative way of doing work, you get to attract really great people from that
Right.
that process. And we've been virtual for over 7 years now, and there's a lot of people who they wanted that a long time ago, and we're able to provide that for them. And
So Scott is pointing out every P word you've said. So
Pointing
out.
processes.
I'm
yeah.
just
So
doing that for
that's
you,
easy.
Scott.
So just one other follow-up question on that then. In this article I just read in Accounting Today, and you are like the most awesome person in the world, it
Prolific.
said. You have some structure in place where you're like trying to give everybody ownership in the firm or something?
That's right, yeah.
And what is that?
Yeah, I mean, that was something I wanted to do when I first started the firm, was not have a traditional partnership structure and deal with that, because I saw the pain that was when I knew partners in the firm I was at, and I always want to have employees have ownership in this. And my goal at the end of this is not to own this forever. Is like, hey, let's give this to the employees, give the people who are doing the work, who engage with our clients and are doing the day in and day out stuff. And so we started down that path. We basically have a plan where once you're with our firm for 4 years, you're eligible. And so we have myself, my partner, who have been with the firm almost since the beginning, and we have another employee now who's an owner, and we are going to have 2 more that are going to be owners here shortly. So it's really exciting to kind of give them that piece, and they get to see like, hey, what does this all mean, and the benefits of that, and I'm really excited to.
So it's
for
not
them to have
really
it.
like a true ESOP structure, right? Or is
Right,
it?
it's not true. It's not. I mean, they're direct owners into the company.
Okay,
And,
all right.
yeah,
Well, that's
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
That's great. I think that's great. We're going to need to wrap up here in a few minutes. And again, awesome conversation. Dawn, do you want to motivate us before we close out here?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, let's be real. I'm not going to rap like my guy over here, Scott, because
No, you're gonna rap with a W.
with a W, that's right, wrap it up. The one thing I'm a little disappointed about here tonight is that my feet don't reach the floor. But that's, I understand
That's
that
not our problem.
That's not your problem. It's my problem. But that's okay. But I guess for me, it's like I want people, especially like I'm a small firm. I'm 3 people. For those smaller firms, not growing, which is awesome, Josh. You got guts, man. To grow a firm, if you're a small firm, that's okay. Like, understand that if that's what your passion is, if you don't want to grow, that's also okay. Right. You can, like, I'm at a point in my firm where I just want the 3 of us, and we're gonna, walk into the horizon together and whatever. But and
the dawn.
Into the dawn.
Dusk
That's
till
right.
dawn.
Not whatever. But I will tell you one thing I want to tee up real quick is Randy has a presentation that I have not seen yet, but I have heard bits and pieces about having a work-life balance, which that's the dumbest kind of summary, but just being able to live your life and live it right. Yeah. And it took me a long time to get there, but I feel like I'm approaching like having that happiness of work-life balance, and I know Randy, I can't wait to see that keynote that you're going to be doing all across the country.
Well, I'll do it right now if we want. If you got 50
Start
minutes,
right?
right?
Start right now.
We're going to skip that.
But I'm honored to be here, and I want to thank you for having me. And Josh, he's a great partner. We're great together. P for
partner. And let me see. I'll tell you the title of that presentation I'm starting to do. It's called Mental Health Awareness Beyond Burnout, because burnout is a huge thing in this industry, and so we're talking about that. So I'm really excited that I get to do this. Thank you, Dawn, for pointing that out. Thank you too for being. You are not second. You are first. You're just second in the group of guests, and we appreciate you being here. What's that?
Premier.
You're the premier guest, but don't tell the other
guests. We're the powerful guests,
and
is
the
what we are.
Guest.
Power couple.
Not the powerful, whatever you said.
Yeah.
I did not say that.
I don't know what that was.
It was Poe.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, thanks for being here. We are going to take another 5-minute break, and we will be back after that.
This episode has been brought to you by the letter T, I, and P.
Tips, and which is, well, I'm going to tip the bartenders tonight. But, all right. Thanks. We'll be right back.
Tips.
Accounting podcast.
Mark, you good? All right, we're back. The last segment, which I'm getting a little disappointed about because I'm having too much fun up here. But you guys, hopefully, we're having fun listening to what was going on. We got our next group of two on the last segment
Our next
here.
pair.
Our next pair. Are we going with P still in this segment, or are we
we'll
going with a different letter?
We'll get
Everything's
we'll pair
P,
it
huh?
off, yeah.
All right. So this is the tip show, apparently. We went TIP. So we're going P right now. All right. So our next guest, let's get these two fine young gentlemen, and I say young because I'm the old guy here for sure. I'm going to introduce Blake. Yeah, I'm going to introduce Blake Oliver. So Blake Oliver is actually, he doesn't know it, but he's my idol. He's got the #1 accounting podcast in the galaxy, right? The galaxy?
I if you say so, Randy. Yes, thank you.
So many of you
the
probably
metaverse.
In the metaverse. Oh, we're in the metaverse now. We've got somebody who's actually, I know somebody who's getting a PhD in metaverse right now. I have no idea how
Really?
you even get a PhD in metaverse, but that's
PhD.
what. Yeah, so that's what he's getting. So all right, so back to Blake. So Blake Oliver, co-host of the Cloud Accounting Podcast. Unbelievable, great information out weekly, right? You're a weekly show.
Every week, yep.
Every week, which is amazing. We're every other week. I don't know how you do every week. I don't know how Scott does, what his schedule is. I'm not sure what his schedule is, but he's got a lot out there. Also, the creator of Earmark, which this show you are watching, listening to right now, will be on Earmark eventually, and you'll be able to get CPE, as long as we educate you on something, I guess. You'll be able to get CPE for listening to this show. So that was something that when we started the Unique CPA, one of my first ideas was, I want people to get CPE for this. As I said at the beginning of the show, I don't really do anything but talk, so I never implemented that. Luckily, Blake did the implementation, and now the Unique CPA podcast is on Earmark, and you can get CPE for listening to it. Blake, welcome to the Unique CPA for the second time.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you so much, and thank you, Scott. It's great to see you again.
Great to
And
see
Matthew, hello.
Nobody
Hey.
knows who Matthew is. We haven't announced
Transition
him
to
yet.
Matthew. Matthew May, CPA, joined Acuity to translate accounting for entrepreneurs. He does this by helping navigate tax and accounting
You're just
rules.
reading my
I am just
LinkedIn.
reading your
You
intro to
can't
my
just
podcast.
read my LinkedIn to introduce me. We're
I
friends.
thought that was the way to do this.
Dude. Like,
I
you
don't-
cannot do that.
I
I'm
bring
drawing
no
the
context to this. So Matthew is one of my idols. First, because he's got the alliterative name, and he's an M&M in my mind, and he's got one of the best episodes. Matthew is on a mission to make accounting scalable. Along with his partner from our first segment, Kenji, another alliterative name.
KK.
Matthew his home is Atlanta, from El Paso,
Yep.
and he's on a journey to make my life better too. He's teaching me how to implement better habits into my life, and I appreciate him as a friend. One of my best pals.
So we can talk about you for a long time, but
No.
We could talk about Scott.
I would have finished.
Maybe
That's
there would be
segment.
Matthew
a
does
whole
have
episode
some.
where we get a.
Matthew
we
has a
would need
penchant for
psychologist.
cryptocurrency and blockchain, and he likes to volunteer in the Georgia technology community. Like, I want to bring in the whole full body of Matthew May.
Oh, thanks, dude. That's nice of you to say. It's great to be here. Thanks, Randy, for having us, man. It's great.
Yeah. Again, I am just amazed that people say yes to me when I ask them
Well,
things.
well,
So-
to be fair, our podcast is Drink While You Think, and you hosted this at the Beer Temple. So it was like when you said, "Hey, it's the Beer Temple," and we'd be like, "Yes," and you're like, "I didn't explain what it was." It was like
Just
we
yes.
were like,
Beer
"It's at the
Temple,
Beer
yes.
Temple, man. Come on, let's go." It was like, and by the way, if you're ever in Chicago, Illinois, if you're listening to this, you have to come here. It's like heaven. It's This is like you walk into the bottle shop and it's like your heaven.
So that being said, and we haven't done this, but what are you drinking right now?
Well, I just switched to the raspberry stout.
He took my beer.
Really?
I've been working on the imperial stout that's on the board.
Really?
Yeah, I've had a couple of those. I've done all 3 stouts now. And Scott just shared with me the raspberry stout, and I gave him the imperial
All right,
stout
so
on the way here.
you're good to go for the segment, though. Those strong beers,
Oh,
you sound
hey,
great.
Hey, they call it Sunday Matthew. This is like the
This is
Matthew you
Sunday
get at the
Matthew,
tailgate.
prime time on Monday.
Prime time on Monday.
This is
There
the
you
Monday
go.
night game.
So we need to educate, otherwise Blake is not going to put this on earmark. So let's do a little
true.
education right now. So, or more than a little. So there's a bunch of topics we can talk about. One that I really want to talk about because I think you guys fight about this is cryptocurrency. Should we start with a little
Well, we
crypto?
seem to be on different sides of the aisle on this one.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, we have a pretty thriving cryptocurrency practice. So we're like actually trying to fix this for clients. And every time I listen to the Cloud Accounting podcast, Blake is sometimes a little critical of the cryptocurrency.
It's true.
I mean,
His voice gets high when he talks about crypto, too.
He might be a little bit of a skeptic, right? So I'm just gonna
yeah.
I mean, Blake, don't you think we've got to figure this out as a profession, though? Like, can you give me that much? Like, we need to figure this out. It's here, right?
Absolutely. And I think the word you used that is appropriate for me is skeptic. I am a skeptic. I believe as a CPA, I should exercise professional skepticism when it comes to all things, and crypto is one of those things. And as somebody whose show is all about accounting and technology, I can't help but cover crypto.
So let's unpack that a little, Blake. Why? Tell us why. Tell us why you're skeptical about crypto. Like,
I mean-
what makes you anxious about it?
Well,
Come on, let's sit on the couch for a little bit.
It all started years ago, back in my childhood. No, it's the crypto bros. Okay, I can't handle the crypto bros,
Yeah.
and especially it was actually this past Super Bowl when Matt Damon came on with Crypto.com, pumping up crypto and telling everybody you gotta invest in crypto. Crypto is for the brave, and I realized at that moment I'm like, crypto is a scam. A lot of it is.
Was it because I called you Matt Damon before? Like I've said, you're the Matt Damon doppelganger. So is that also why? Did he betray you?
Maybe I feel like a little bit of a kinship with him.
So this is where Blake and I are getting to common ground.
Yes.
Because a lot of this shit is just off, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot of people trying to take advantage of a lot of people. But the stuff I like to talk about is the cool projects going on.
And that's what I want to hear about from you, Matthew, is like, what is happening in crypto that gets you excited? Because I agree that crypto and blockchain technology is really fascinating and interesting, and there's a lot of amazing applications of it. The problem is that so much of it that we hear about, again, like Super Bowl commercials, is the just scams, the outright scams.
So, like, I'll give you this. Every crypto that's, like, designated as, like, bills itself as an investment, I'm with you on. So, like, my favorite ones, I'll give you 2.
Yeah.
So the first one's one called Yellow Card. And what they've decided to do is, like, go after in Africa and serve the underbanked. So they partnered with all the retail shops in Africa. They, like, all the grocery stores, whatever, so people could send money cross-country, within Africa, but cross-border, by using either Bitcoin or USDC, which is like what we call a stable coin, which is just like sending US dollars as long as it's a legitimate one. We don't have to get into
have no
the
idea what that
legitimate
means.
stable
Not go rabbit
coins.
holes.
We don't go to rabbit holes. But so they're literally helping families that can't get bank accounts send money to each other. Like, that is a legitimate, and they're like wildly successful. They're like, oh, I love this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then one of my other favorite clients is trying to compete with Amazon's S3. They're decentralizing cloud storage and had to issue a cryptocurrency to be able to fund the way to do that.
So that's one of those blockchains where it actually stores data.
It's
in
not a
might sit
blockchain. They
out this
actually
segment.
use their cryptocurrency as like a gift card.
Uh-huh.
Like I call it, like, there's different types of cryptocurrencies, right? Their crypto is not an investment. It's kind of like a gift card where you can, the reason you buy their cryptocurrency is to buy storage on their network,
Got
right?
it.
And but by storage on their network, it's like Scott could even have a terabyte in his house that he could be competing with Amazon with, like as this decentralized Amazon S3 product.
So
There's really cool stuff that people are doing.
Yeah.
The ones I'm least excited about are the ones that are investment driven. They're like, you could make a ton of money. Like I'm giving you that one.
And I think the real failure in the system is not crypto itself. It's the people who are supposed to be regulating these products. All these crypto exchanges that are acting like banks and selling investment products to consumers, like where's the SEC in regulating them?
Oh, don't worry. I always I tell accountants, I do a crypto 101 for accountants. I'm like, oh, don't worry. The first thing you do is look to the regulators. And the IRS says it's property. The SEC says it's a security. FinCEN says it's FinCEN says it's a currency. Wait, this is like my fourth
well,
year.
what you're saying is
there's five different ones.
Well, and even the SEC waffles depending. Bitcoin's a commodity, but Ethereum's a security. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah, because they're all different things.
Yeah.
Like crypto, they're not trying to be the same thing. Bitcoin is trying to replace gold. That we know. So there are those cryptos that are trying to be a store of value, like whatever commodity like gold.
I still don't understand how that works.
But like Ethereum, like their smart contract protocol, it's like it's more like Kickstarter when I explain it to people. Like Ethereum, the closest thing in the commercial world for us for Ethereum is Kickstarter. And if you look at it, they have all of these projects that started based on it. And they were able to issue tokens. They're all just spin-offs of Ethereum. They're like ERC20 tokens, right? So that's like Kickstarter, right? So you have all these, like, the problem regulators have that they say cryptocurrency is this one thing, and they're not all trying to be these one things. NFTs. I explained. We had a charity issuing NFTs. It's basically they're issuing receipts.
So
do you
on
remember,
our way,
do you remember when Suzanne Summers did if you donate to a child in Africa, you get a picture? Well, our client did that, but with homes. Like they 3D print homes, right? They 3D print homes, and they're like, oh, you can get an NFT of the home, which is basically like a receipt. Well, they were worried about having to take income, like whatever, for selling NFTs. They just took a donation, and the people got, like, their receipt was an NFT. So, like, an NFT can be like a mural.
Right.
One of our clients does for songwriters.
We're in Chicago right now, and there's a lot of
NFTs.
paintings on the walls, right? You're referencing
Murals.
right. I saw a big one on the way here.
Right.
Could that be an NFT?
Yes. So, like, I tell people who want to invest in NFTs, if you would fund a mural, that's a great use of your money. Until people can monetize these things and really understand it, and one of our clients is trying to. So they're doing for artists, for recording artists, they're putting the NFTs, their songs as an NFT and printing them with the hopes that down the road they can monetize those as those get played, those songwriters get the money back.
So if it's an NFT is just not a picture or something, you can actually have the song play as an NFT?
An NFT is a non-fungible token. So it's just data
Yeah.
that is unique.
An MP3 is a data.
But the entire song could
So
be
it could
an NFT.
it could be a mural, it could be a digital artwork, it could be a song. So an NFT could be a number of things. The
I'm
picture.
lost.
I am
so-
too.
Can
So
we go
Matthew,
back-
you're
can we
supposed
go
to
back
make
and
the
bring Blake back in
complex
this?
simple. I'm
Oh,
not
sorry.
getting the simple part yet. So,
So a non-fungible token.
yeah.
So you're just representing something unique. Okay. Do you want me to go a practical example of what crypto could do?
If
Like-
it's less than 10 minutes.
Oh, sorry. So have you ever bought title insurance for a house, Randy?
Yes.
Okay. A blockchain could overtake the title insurance because what a perfect use case to separate all the lots in the United States and assign them lots, and then you would just record
Okay.
the ownership changes.
Yep.
All a blockchain does is record how ownership changes over time.
Okay.
So title insurance could theoretically be replaced by blockchain.
Okay. See? Look at that. You are an expert at making the complex simple.
Well, you asked me to be like esoteric before, and then you asked me to be practical. I can get it down to brass tacks.
All right. So let's wrap up crypto because my brain is spinning right now. Unless is there any? Did you want any final thoughts on this, Blake?
Well, I think the interesting thing is Matthew's very bullish on crypto, but you don't own any.
Because I'm not bullish on crypto as an investment.
Right. And that's where we agree.
Okay. So if I own blockchain, is that I shouldn't?
If you own blockchain,
You don't own
Not blockchain.
It's
All right.
decentralized.
See, I don't even know what I'm talking about. If I
Blockchain
own-
is
if I own,
decentralized.
what's the big one?
oh,
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. So, what my answer to that is,
Yeah.
the best wealth managers in the business are telling people if you're highly aggressive, you should have less than 1% of
If
your
you're highly
net worth.
aggressive.
If you're highly aggressive, less than
Less than
1% of your
1%.
net worth in cryptocurrency.
All right.
So that's your barometer. So you can only spend 1% of your net worth. I'm gonna tell your wife when she gets back from the
So
concert.
I could put $1 million in Bitcoin.
You can, yeah, because you're like a big baller.
Exactly.
Like for me and Blake, it's like 10 grand.
All right.
Or like $100, you know. Yeah.
All right. How about Ethereum? Tell me if I'm good there. Those
Yeah.
are the two I own.
Ethereum and Bitcoin would be if I was going to invest in crypto, I'd invest in Ethereum because it's a platform
Yes.
and I understand the thing.
Yep.
Bitcoin's more of an energy arbitrage. Like if you want to do it, it's the biggest one. That's great.
All right.
But
So-
keep it under 1%.
Under 1%. I will do that. I will take your advice, but then I'm going to have to pay capital gains when I get under 1%, right?
All right, let's
All right.
Now
let's
we're
go-
going to stuff nobody wants
That's
to
good.
talk about.
Tax talk.
Tax talk.
Let's go because
Pivot.
I'm already
Pivot.
getting the 5-minute mark, but we're going to go a little longer than that because we haven't gotten in anything yet that I want to talk about because there's such interesting things. I know one of the top one I want to Blake, before I miss it, let's just talk earmark a little bit. You want us to give us an update of what you're doing and where you're going with this?
Yes, yeah, I'm very excited. We actually announced it today, the launch of Earmark Media. So my partner in the Cloud Accounting podcast, David Leary, is joining Earmark.
Nice.
And we are providing video podcast production services. We're creating an advertising network for sponsors of podcasts, like what we've done on our show. We want to help more accountants, more apps in our space create video content.
And everybody here today, well, Allan doesn't have a podcast, but everybody else has a podcast, and everybody else, Dawn is not on Earmark, but she's about to be on Earmark,
She
but
will.
everybody else is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Drink While You Think is on Earmark?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and
So
then
I mean, this is
pretty much
I mean,
worked
as
for
a,
Earmark.
as a CPA, this is the best thing that's happened for CPE
I agree.
since in my career.
So one person that's here today that I just saw out there is Dan Choden. Yeah, you probably all met Dan. And what did Dan say?
Shout out to Dan.
Yeah, shout out to Dan. Dan is
Yeah.
like one of my favorite. Dan and I are both ERC geeks, and he's amazing. I've learned so much from him, and I appreciate what he's done for the ERC industry because there's so much crap out there going on with ERC, and he knows how the right way to do it, and that's what we try to do. But what he had said, I think on Twitter or some reason, was like, yeah, I just looked at my Earmark app, and I got like 61 hours of CPE in Earmark so far or something.
As far as I know, he's our number one earner of CPE.
Is he really?
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
putting him at the
We're
top
gonna
of
give
the
him a prize
leaderboard.
tonight. Yeah.
Well, I actually have a prize for him. I have a prize for all of you, just so you know, at the end of the night.
prize
So
pack.
we got a prize
We got
back. All right.
cupcakes too.
So we don't have a ton of time. So Earmark's great. That was something that when I say that came out, I was like, this is amazing. This is what I wanted all along. And again, you did it. So I appreciate that. One thing, and we don't have a lot of time, but I think I want to kind of try to wrap up where we started today with Allan and Kenji and talking about this new structure and in firms and all that, because I know, Blake, that's something that you're passionate about, is this whole, I think you call it the slow death of the partnership model, but you see this change happen in public accounting. You see a change needs to happen. You want to expand on that?
So my career has been extremes. I have worked in a traditional partnership model accounting firm, and I've also worked for tech startups, and they're so different. And I think that there's a lot of room for a compromise, and I find that with partnerships, like especially big partnerships, they operate on consensus. And in a time of disruption that we're in now, you can't really operate on consensus because it's too slow, and the solution ends up being not extreme enough. And so it's been fascinating to watch over the last 10 years firms crop up that have a different type of model, firms like Acuity that are more of a corporate type of model. A lot of small firms are figuring out that, and instead of growing into these big partnerships, they're going to figure out a different way to do things that allow them to be more agile. So I honestly think that long term, that's where we're headed as a profession.
It's not rocket science. Everybody else is doing it.
Every
I'm just saying,
industry, you
like,
mean?
So
like the regular ownership model is like the standard everywhere else. I don't
Right.
understand why accountants are so slow to adopt it. Like it just blows my mind.
So here's our firm started using EOS, which is like the entrepreneurial operating system, which said you should run your firm like a normal company, like a corporation.
You should run a firm
You should
like
take
a business.
this
There's
model-
a book. I mean, just saying for accountants that is like you should run your firm like a business.
It's
like
it. That's basically what I'm
that's a
saying.
statement.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then all of a sudden, we're learning off of how hundreds of years of running businesses and 140 years of running accounting firms, right? Like, but this is still a big shift for a lot of practice owners and traditional partnership models. They thought that's a business model. They think they're running a business. Would you disagree? Like,
Oh no, I mean, I just
I think actually some partners might be insulted if you called what they do a business.
I
right?
agree.
Right?
know,
Yeah.
which is
It's
odd.
almost like you're not supposed to operate in that manner.
Right, it's just a mindset. This isn't a business. We're just helping other people.
Right.
No, you're building a business too,
helping.
and you have an asset there.
This is our turf.
Yeah.
It's not our business.
I mean, we have to go back in time, not that long ago. Like when CPA firms used to not be able to advertise,
right.
I
right?
know.
Until like what was it, the 60s, the 70s?
Yeah.
It was illegal to advertise your services. So we've come a long way, but
I didn't even think it was that long ago. I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly,
Some
it seemed
say-
like the last 10 years is the first time I've heard a commercial for an accounting firm. I'm sure it's probably longer ago than that, but that's what it feels
no,
like.
Now I see them like on YouTube. I see even like BDO advertises all the time
Oh,
on
yeah.
like TV.
Yep.
It's interesting.
Yep, I see
So-
buses driving around Chicago with Markham written on it.
Yeah.
Big CPA firm headquartered out of New York, and so do you think? What do you think of the private equity then? And is that changing the business model? Is that good? Is it bad? Do you have an opinion?
Well, that's how the transition is happening for some of these larger firms,
Right.
right? You got to buy out all the partners at once.
Yep.
And who's going to do that except
Private equity.
private equity?
a big pile of money.
Yeah. That'll motivate anybody to change, right?
Money's the motivator.
The money
Yeah.
is definitely out there.
I mean, the thing nobody's talking about though is like I know people say. I mean, I know eventually you have to worry about money, but like private equity only cares about EBITDA. So accountants historically have like been famous for caring about their clients and being trusted by their clients. So this is a monumental shift that this industry is going to have to keep its status while taking money. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I talked to Allan about that, 6 months ago or last year, and that same exact concept. And he said that private equity has changed. It's different now. They are looking at more. They know that clients are the key. They're more user friendly with that, but they still have that bottom line. I want to grow. I'm going to turn this over in 5 years. What I don't see is you can't keep turning over 5 years in perpetuity. It just can't happen. And what's the end game? And I don't understand the end game.
Well, I mean, the ones that have talked to us,
Yeah.
they clearly care about, they believe accountants are the key to the SMB. That accountants can influence the SMB buying decision that's the ones that talk to us. I don't know that that's the same ones going up market.
Right.
So they've talked about that, and they've been interested of scale, like being able to get these economies of scale. The thing I don't understand about the firms that are doing this now is they already have economies of scale. They're already big-ass firms
Right.
that are taking private equity.
That's a technical
So
term, right? Big
that's
ass?
a big-ass.
All right.
The big-ass firm is a really technical
Oh,
term.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think I've heard that before, but yeah, nice. All right. So they're already big ass and they have that in place already. Nice. I like the big ass firms.
So they've got the scale already, so they're not really going to get economies of scale from lopping things together more.
Yeah, they're bringing in more different technologies. They're bringing in different services. They're merging in different industries. Now, if they didn't have an IT consulting firm, they're going to merge that in. If they didn't have an HR firm, they're going to merge that in. And I assume that's part
And that's
of that.
all predicated on accountants being able to influence SMB buying decisions,
Okay.
I think. So
You want to
that's
define SMB for people? I guess everybody knows, but Small, mid-sized
Oh,
business?
small and mid-sized business.
All
sorry.
right, there you go. Thank you. I assume everybody knew, but those TLAs
The
always throw me
acronyms,
off.
yeah,
The three
acronyms
other
get me every
acronyms.
time, too.
Be sure to turn in your TPS reports by the end of the day.
TPS reports will be done by the end of the day.
So you've been approached. You said it now. You've been approached, obviously. I would assume you have by private equity.
We've been since we hit $5 million in revenue. We've been
Yeah.
approached every year by private equity
Yeah.
to do a roll-up in the cloud accounting
Yeah.
space.
Yep. Not the cloud accounting podcast, but the cloud accounting space.
No, the cloud accounting
You
space.
could buy us too if you wanted.
You could buy the cloud accounting
Yeah,
podcast.
absolutely. I've got a
That's
number.
the microphone for space.
we honestly get that all the time too. It's nonstop. It seems like it, but private equity is everywhere
It's
right now.
as soon as you hit a certain threshold,
Right.
you have to get through the chain,
Yep.
but
Yep.
we've gotten in serious discussions with 2 firms.
You have gone
Yes.
down that road. And
And-
why didn't you do it?
Because we were at $5 million in revenue, and they needed to be at $200 million in revenue in a 5-year horizon.
Wow.
From 5. This was 4 years ago for us. So
How's that even possible?
Yeah, that's what
I figured it out.
Yeah.
We were going to have to do 150 acquisitions in 4 years and integrate them all.
So it was all acquisitions for the most
It
part.
was all a roll up. The one of the
That
one
would
of the
not be
two.
fun, I don't think.
Consolidation.
We also thought that would not be fun. So we
But you
together-
are having fun now. You've opted for the fun route.
we opted for the bootstrap. Yep, that's how we did it.
They drink beer and talk accounting every Friday night.
I mean, like,
so,
we're-
and today.
Anytime
We're
I
here at
see
the
you,
beer
you're
temple
always
in
having a good
Chicago.
time.
Like it's just like how do you have a better life than this?
All right, well, this is the final segment, which I'm very sad that we are wrapping up now, and I'm going to give you both. I didn't give everybody this opportunity, but if either of you have anything final to say, you got the floor here for a few minutes each.
Thank you, Randy, for having us out here.
I wasn't looking for that, but
This
I
has
appreciate
been a
it.
true pleasure and honor.
All right, it's-
Cheers to you.
Yeah, well, cheers to all of you. This
Cheers
is
to
unbelievable.
Randall.
Well, I get a time, right?
No,
No, it's
you're
Matthew's
next.
turn.
We can cheers
Okay.
twice.
Oh, we get cheers twice.
Gotta give Randall
I was
his
like,
moment.
I thought we
Randall
all get it
Jack
twice.
Crabtree. This is moment here.
Wait, we're going to let Matthew
All
go
right.
right now.
You put a lot into this.
Are you ready for it? I'm gonna go into my
Can
voice.
you top that?
All right.
Yeah, ready?
Yeah.
Tri-Merit Accounting for all of your R&D and ERC tax credit needs. Tri-Merit Accounting, the best in the business at making you money. How do you not make this decision to just make yourself money? You go to the Tri-Merit Accounting for all of your needs.
You are a voiceover expert.
All of your needs. I love
All of
this.
your needs.
Yeah.
And then
Cheers to
you need
that.
it's
You're like-
primary.
you're like-
Cheers.
is that
Thank you.
Matthew
So
May.
you
That's
do
cheers
the
to
commercials
Matthew, too, yeah.
normally on the.
Drink While You Think podcast.
Yeah.
I do all the like because you
The
sponsor,
sponsors,
Well, you
yeah.
sponsor our podcast by sending us beer, which you know,
Yes.
which you sent us so far. Your top 2.
The best.
'Cause
top 2.
Somebody sends Pliny the Elder.
Oh. So I'm going to California Saturday. I'm going to be in that area. I'm going to bring some Pliny and I'm shipping it to you. Don't tell them I'm shipping it to you. 'cause
Okay.
I don't think they like people. Although they are on Craft Shack now. Craft Shack, there's an app out there that they ship beers around the country. Pliny is now on Craft
Really?
Shack. I just did a commercial for Craft Shack. Hey, Craft Shack, send us some money. Thank you.
No, but in all seriousness, it's like nice to have somebody like in the credits business. We really appreciate when people have integrity and stuff like that. So we really appreciate that you had us here and that you trust us.
Integrity
with
and
that, so.
other
Stuff
stuff.
like integrity.
I appreciate
No, when
that.
you're going after credits, that's a big
Oh,
deal.
it's
when you're
unbelievable.
following- like it's huge,
Yes.
man. Like
There's-
you can't understate like being around folks that are quality. So
All right, I appreciate
Thanks for having
that.
us.
I did not ask for any of that, but I thank you for that. You guys stick around. We're going to do a wrap up here, but you guys stay in your seats. You can drink your beer. You can do whatever you want.
Sounds great.
I don't think we can do it, but Scott was hoping to do a rap. Do you want to do a small version without music of your rap, or how do you want to do this, or are we going to do this another time?
Gotta be with music. It's a
No
poem,
music,
it's
no
not-
rap.
Yeah.
No, this is. I'm going to get a T-shirt. No music, no rap. So this
Yeah,
is
I
so.
mean, do a poem.
Do a poem. All right. While he's looking up his poem,
we're like, no woman, don't cry. We can sing for-
we're going to go with dead air for the next 5 minutes till
No,
Scott.
here we go. So, are we really doing this? Like,
Yeah.
How long you got? I don't want.
You've been building this up all freaking for 2 days.
We're not going to 10-minute poem. We're just doing a short poem, right?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's Scott Scarano And
so I'll do. So this is a poem.
And well,
on-
before we say it, hold on. I'm going to introduce you as little toddler. Little toddler.
Little toddler. So this isn't the one I was gonna perform. This is what I'm working on. This is a how to say no more, or at least what I am trying to do with my life. So I'm gonna read it as if it's a poem, not a rap. Why am I so busy? Why did I say maybe? Let's have a discussion. Say no when you're uncertain. Saying let me start over there.
No, you're good.
Say no when you're uncertain. Saying yes leads to future burden. Next request, deploy a diversion. Discretion, avoid overexertion. No rest, monetize my time, invest in asset conversion. Found zest, optimized my life, less stress, no aversion. Digest, acquiescent inversion. Protest, disapprove with assertion. Suppress and remove it in person. Unclear, meek, prone to frustration. Fear of being alone and forsaken. Career in a unique situation. Appear weak with no aspiration. Severely insecure, wreaking mayhem. With clear techniques and phrases, premiere new sleek presentation. Elevation through delegation. Elimination of new temptations. Elation with no obligation. Exclamation without hesitation. Say sure, but only in moderation. Secure a no with no explanation. Period.
Period. Done. That's awesome.
Exclamation point.
So you know what? I would have loved to hear the rap. I need a Kleenex now because that was amazing.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't plan on doing that.
No.
That was not ready for prime time, so I appreciate it. Yeah,
So
thanks.
no, that was great. I appreciate that. All right. So we're
No
gonna.
Randy, no cry.
I cry all the time, especially when I do that presentation we talked in the last segment. When I do the mental health awareness beyond burnout, I cry during
Well,
that
that
presentation.
causes burnout. Saying yes causes burnout.
Right.
Like I can speak on it, but I tried to limit it to a few words.
Okay, we're about to wrap up, but you wanted to ask me some questions before we finished, or are we
Yeah.
changing that?
So why fly out a bunch of people in the accounting space to do a live podcast? Why would you even do that?
Because I don't have any friends, and so I needed to get people out here to pretend that people like me. No. So why?
That was self-deprecating humor. Yeah.
Sometimes I don't understand. I don't realize that people may not understand my humor. It's funny to me, but maybe not everybody else.
It was funny to me.
All right,
It's
thank
all
you.
right. It's
So,
all right.
well, you're not as old as me, but at least you're closer than he is to me. So, why do this? It's fun. Obviously, it's fun. Obviously, fun is not enough, but for me, it is because I just do things I enjoy. Everybody I had on here today, I enjoy talking to. But it's marketing. Honestly, it's marketing. You're gonna market because we're out there. People see this. Everybody follows you guys. Everybody loves you guys. You do what Matthew said. Integrity. Everybody here has integrity. And so if I can surround myself with people like that and show that we as a company have that as well, it's big. Is marketing the only reason? No, it's just I come up with the idea, we do it. Hopefully it creates some buzz around what we do, but I honestly don't think that. It's just I think, hey, let's get some people together that I like and have fun and enjoy it. You can call this marketing, and I do call this marketing, and we got Mark, our head of marketing, right in front of me here.
Marcus of marketing.
Marcus of marketing. This is the best name ever for a position.
That's why he's in marketing. You have the camera on you now too.
But marketing means nothing if you don't have integrity, like Matthew said. If you can't back it up with something that is helping others, as Dawn said as well. And that's what we do. And that's my whole goal. My whole goal as an individual, not a business, but it rolls over to the business, is to educate. I have a mantra of give away your knowledge. You guys all did that today. You gave away your knowledge today. I always look to try to give away my knowledge. If I do this through this, or I do this through my webinars, or I do it through my in-person presentations, or I do it being a guest on someone else's podcast, I just think if you do that, it's going to come back to you, and that's my whole reason for doing these things. So I appreciate you guys being here, and appreciate you asking me that.
We appreciate you. How much money did you spend on this event?
I don't know if I know the final number. My guess is Do I answer that? You
Do we-
always ask numbers.
I always ask numbers, and I know I told you I was going to ask numbers.
I honestly probably gonna spend. It's minimum 30,000, probably more.
What do you anticipate the ROI is?
I don't even
Future
look at that,
ROI of
honestly.
this.
Here's our head of sales here. Barry, do you have any idea on our ROI on an event like this? We're just spending money.
He said
That's
he's
what we
just
do.
spending money over there.
All right, so
You're an
But if you're an
altruist.
accounting
Yeah.
firm, if you're looking for an R&D tax credit partner, try Merit Accounting. Try Merit Accounting for all of your R&D tax credit.
3
needs.
merits. All right, that's my next question. What are the 3 merits?
the 3 merits. So okay, we're gonna go into this.
We are.
All right, we're gonna need to wrap
told
up
me
here
I could
soon.
ask
I
you
think
a
Mark's
question,
already
yeah.
given me the cut sign. I think it's Mark from marketing.
All right, give him quick.
Or
Quick. 3
Jake
hits.
from
3 hits.
State
3
You can
hits.
Farm.
take this out in post, Mark. You're good.
right.
Don't worry about it.
I'll do it real quick. When we started this, there was three people were going to be involved. Ended up only being 2. So the try was there was 3 people, and it was compliance, it was production, and it was sales. So there's 3 aspects to the business as well. The 3 people were going to head up those 3 areas. One, the salesperson did not end up coming with. She went to do something else, but we brought in somebody for business development pretty quick. So there's 3 sides to it. In addition, then, okay, we got try, we got 3, whatever. 3 what? 3, and then it was like, okay, look at what we were doing. It was R&D tax credits at the time. We do a lot now. As our advertising manager, Matthew May, has told you, we do additional things as well. But it was the things we do put money back into businesses. It helps businesses. They've earned this by whatever they do. And it was not try gold, try
merit
earn,
badge.
and it was a merit. They merit. There was. I looked up at the thesaurus, which I had a hard time saying there, and that was one of the terms. And honestly, make a long story even longer. My wife dreamed the name. She dreamed the try part, and then we filled in the rest with the merit.
Speaking of dreams, then,
Yes.
do you feel like you are living the dream?
I don't pinch myself literally, but I am having too much fun. I don't understand how I got to this point.
I mean, we're at the beer temple,
Yeah.
dude. Like, how is he not living the dream? We're all living the dream.
Living his best
Like-
life.
Yes, it is fun, and partly it's because I get to, and this is to sound altruistic, but I get to help people. I get to help the accounting profession, help their clients legitimately put money back into their businesses, and that I get a rush out of.
So you're blending your passion and your purpose
Is there
with your
any-
profession.
I was going to say there had to be another P in there.
That was good.
I think I am, but enough about me. This is all, you guys. It's been great being here, and so I'm going to wrap it up now. Scott, are we good?
You know,
All right.
I can't wrap anything
I think it's
up.
your podcast. I think you can do
All right.
whatever you want, dude.
Well, no, he is now my co-host, at least for today, and this could continue at some point. We will have to see. That being said, I've gone way over time. I'm keeping the video and audio people well past their scheduled time. I appreciate them being part of this. They've done an awesome job. We couldn't have done this without this group here. We couldn't have done it without Mark and his team and Haley and Dana coming up with this idea. I have had the time of my life tonight, and I continue to try to have the time of my life every night. I thank everybody for watching, listening. My goal, sorry, Mark, is to make this an annual event. And so expect to see us next middle of August doing this again. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, that's loud.
Ooh, I got ears ringing now.
Yeah.